Propaganda is one of the most important instruments for holding power. If you're a good propagandist, you can make your audience believe even the biggest lie that can be told. But not every lie and not every propaganda always works. Sometimes it can become a weapon pointed out to the propagandist. It is a very big and effective weapon. In the Russia-Ukraine war, we have seen that the leadership of the Russian Federation has tried many times to use the weapon of propaganda. They tried it once again, but the truth came out. Hello, the Pioneer viewers! Today I will again convey to you a very striking detail about the Russian-Ukrainian war. As you know, the Ukrainian army is carrying out a very strong and important attack on the Kherson front line. These attacks have worn out the Russian army considerably. You are also familiar with our map reports. The Russian administration is trying to hide these facts from both the Russian public and the world. However, recently another propaganda made by Russia has turned out to be a lie. Moreover, it was the Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu who made this propaganda. Obviously, the Russian Defense Minister was disgraced. So what is the propaganda and facts in question? Let's take a look at the developments together. As the Pioneer team, we continue to bring you developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. You can also help us reach more people by commenting on our videos. Let's start if you are ready, the Pioneer reports. As you know, there is a very fierce battle going on the Kherson front line. The fierce offensive by the Ukrainian army have and continue to wear down the Russian army. However, the Russian war leadership is trying to hide the defeat here with various methods. The most well-known of these methods is that the Russian army is actually still strong on the Kherson front line. So who is telling this lie? Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. There is a matter called state seriousness. Rulers, administrators, or statesmen must be honest, and even if they lie, they must cover it up. Otherwise, the things that may arise will deal a great blow to both the seriousness of a state and the character of the statesman. We have witnessed such a situation many times before with many Russian state leaders, including Sergei Shoigu. Frankly, we don't think that these people care about this situation. We don't think they care about the persistently continue to do the same thing. Recently, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu made a statement. The main subject of this statement was that the latest situation on the Kherson front line. Shoigu's claims contained statements that were quite far from the field realities, because according to Sergei Shoigu, Ukrainian amphibious teams had never raided Russian teams and there were no losses in the Russian army. We often state this in our map reports. The Ukrainian armed forces are carrying out a massive wave of offensive on the Kherson front line, and during these attacks, a large number of Russian soldiers are being destroyed. However, according to the Sergei Shoigu, these claims are untrue. Shoigu claims that the Ukrainian soldiers were destroyed, not the Russian soldiers. However, these claims were again refuted by the Russian war correspondent. A Russian war correspondent broadcasting on the Telegram recently shared with the public a very remarkable report about what happened on the Kherson front line. I think we should consider this source as a first-hand source. The Russian war correspondent published his impressions of the latest situation on the Kherson front line, accompanied by a map, and used the following statements. The attached map shows that the actual places of the presence of the Ukrainian armed forces in only one specific settlement on the left bank of the Dnieper River, as well as the actual routes of the passage of the Ukrainian armed forces from the coast to the settlement. On the map, you can see the advances of the Ukrainian troops in and around the Dnieper River. Moreover, during the advances, a large number of our troops were destroyed. They are destroying many targets. Our positions are badly damaged. We always say that we need reinforcements, that our current situation and strength is not enough. But the war leadership, as usual, is far from listening to the calls. The situation in Pechenivka and Pedestepty is getting worse every day. What do we need to do to convince the war leadership of the situation in the region? A Russian soldier serving on the Kherson region has also recently released a video from the line of the duty. The statement of the Russian soldiers in this video are of a great importance in terms of the understanding the situation of the Russian army. In the video in question, the Russian soldier used the following statements about the latest situation in the region. They are everywhere. We see them everywhere. They came out from behind the trees, behind the hills, from everywhere. We don't know what to do. Our commanders, I don't think they even know what to do either. I've been here for months. I've never encountered such a situation before. Today, they sent the stormtroops here, but they choose not to help us. Instead, they said they wanted to go to the base and ask where the base was. We showed them where the base was. They told us that they had come as reinforcements, but they fooled us again. The stormtroopers are hesitant to go into the middle of the apocalypse. Actually, they're right to be afraid because more than half of the stormtroopers they sent here were crippled, blind, or sick. So once again, the world leadership has blatantly thrown Russian children to the Ukrainians as a bait. We saw them settling in one spot, and do you know what happened to them? The Ukrainians hid their positions. They destroyed them. They destroyed them from a distance of about 1.5 kilometers. They left us here alone. They will never help us. All of our calls go unanswered. We have no more strength to resist. As you can see, the pressure on the Russian soldiers has increased considerably in recent days. We can clearly say that this pressure is likely to continue further. As you can see, both the statements of the Russian war correspondent and the statements of the Russian soldier on the front line refute the Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. Russian sources also insulted the Russian Defense Minister after this information emerged. The division and anger in Russia is increasing day by day. The cost of the war seems to have fallen entirely on the Russian citizens. Russian citizens are the ones who fought and lost their lives at the front. Russian citizens are the ones who bear the economic burden of this war. But the leadership of the Russian Federation is exempt from bearing this burden. They are only thinking of prolonging the war, focused on their imperial goals. Of course, this situation will change only with the mobilization of the Russian people. But will the Russian people mobilize? Time will tell us. What do you think? What do you think the impact of the revelation of the lies told by the Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu will be on the Russian public opinion? What do you think about the Russian sources denying the defense minister? Do you think the experience of the Russian soldiers will cause a movement in the Russian public opinion? What do you think about the deployment of the disabled soldiers on the front line? Let me know in the comments. I read and care all your comments.